Welcome back, guys, to VCT Game Changers APAC Elite. You are back here on the panel with myself, Nika Fabs, and Colden. And we just saw an amazing performance by Team SMG, continuing their win streak as usual, and a daring pick by Nix Kyose on Sunset for our first series. Very memorable first series indeed, but I think our second series here, Colden, can step up to the challenge and beat that standard as well. This is an interesting matchup because I would say it's a bit more on even ground, maybe. Both of these teams do have an uphill challenge, to say the least, because there are a lot of things, I think, both working against both of these two teams, which will be Orangutan and MLT eSports.
Yeah, these two teams, on paper, rather, more it's probably going to be more close than the game that we just witnessed. I think MLT, coming out as the first seed of LCQ, I think they have a lot to prove. They're a relatively new team as well. And I think that they are really, really pumped up and really want to make a name for themselves right here. So let's just, look at the different teams that we have in store for us. First up is going to be Orangutan.
Orangutan X, of course, one of our heavy hitters here as well, Colden. I mean, Aruma, Sway, Japip, Squirrely, and Casper. I mean, these ladies have been here as, mainstays here at the VCT Game Changer scene. Yeah,
it's pretty cool to see Orangutan still, hanging with the big dogs. In every single open that they play in, there are a couple of close matches, but they've always, been the consistent team to make it to playoffs, make a deep run, and, really, really show up when it matters the most. They do struggle a little bit with the weaker teams, but, with such a studded roster, as you can see on your screens right now, it's really, really nice to see that they, have that kind of consistency so far in the year, and, they find themselves in a pretty comfortable position right now. They do have a player, change that had occurred, which is Sway, but I'm excited to see how they'll play out.
Yeah, speaking of those roster changes, they aren't the only one. So did MLT eSports, quite recently. So we're gonna see how they do against that. That's what I was talking about when you said that there are a lot of things working against these teams and they're kind of at even footing. But let's take a closer look first at MLT eSports. few new names here on the side of MLT esports since when we last saw them over at the last chance qualifier, right? This is also the newest roster we have competing here in Elite, and they only came together during the LCQ, during the APAC LCQ. MLT, I think, had a relatively nice finish against Neons, and we got glimpses of what they're like, Holden, in their cleanest possible form. So I'm wondering what polishes they've done in that little break to be ready here for Elite, especially when they're up against the heavy hitters here of the entire Game Changers APAC scene.
Yeah, they brought in Tess, which is a pretty interesting pickup, right? Because she's played on a lesser known team, I would say, in GC previously, but she has great mechanical aim. I think she's a great addition to the team, and RU as that substitute player as well. So I think MLT have a pretty stacked roster coming into this GC Elite. So we're gonna take a look at the map select screen to see how the battlefield's gonna play out.
Will we get another? No, we don't get another sunset. I was ready to jump into it, but we do get Lotus, which is another interesting map to start off with, right? It's going to be MLT's pick, and we do have Orangutan following up with Haven, and Decider going to be Ascent. I'd say these are really interesting maps because they're both three-side maps, right? It feels like MLT and Orangutan are kind of on the same page when it comes to this.
I think it's another, not the exact same situation, but it's a similar situation that we saw in the first series, right? Where the underdog kind of picks a curveball map that isn't as popular as standard maps such as Haven and Ascent. Lotus gonna be the first pick by MLT. I think that's a decent map for them. I think they have a lot of opportunities to come up with creative plays on a large map such as Lotus. Going into Haven and Ascent later on, I think OGX kind of has a little bit of an advantage there. It's a bit curious though, because OGX has historically banned Haven quite a bit in Open 3, so I'm very interested to see whether they have something new brought into the map of Haven that they want to showcase here in Elite.
Well, it's interesting, right? You might be just like, if I can't play this, neither can you. And it's not exactly like it's a bad map for you. Maybe it's just like, I don't want to show this side of me just yet, so you're not getting it either. But here on Lotus, we are getting this side of OGX and MLT. And this is interesting, right? Because for MLT, this is the composition that they went with the last time that we saw them here on Lotus. And for OGX, no big changes here as well. So I think that, for both of these teams, I think we are going to see those very exciting head-to-heads that we will see. I'm looking at Aluo and I'm looking at Twirly here that have, the Rays on the side of OGX and the Jet on the side of MLT.
Yeah, it's pretty similar in the agents, right? It's just the Jet and the Rays difference. It's gonna be double controller, so we're gonna see a lot of smoke screens, but I think it comes down to how these two teams want to play out, because it's still relatively similar, right? Just the duel is different. So I'm curious to see how MLT will want to siege their attack on their map pick against Orangutan.
Not to mention, it is the debut of Tess here. So Tess, I hope you're not feeling any pressure here. No pressure on both of these teams, but maybe there's a lot of pressure here over on our casters, Taylor and Zach, who will be taking us into Lotus.
Pressure? What do you mean pressure? We're just here to watch the action. We're not really sweating here. If I was in the server, sure, playing against these players, I would probably be crying, because that's what happens in most of my ranked games, but we're just here to cast the action, and I think that we have quite a great series coming up. I expect it to be super competitive here between these two teams, because MLT, they were super dominant throughout their run in that LCQ, to be able to win 3-1 to qualify today for Elite. And Orangutan, they've been great throughout the year. They made it to finals in Open 1, but they have those roster changes that we talked about coming in, so it might be a little bit more challenging for them.
I do like this though for the camera side of OGX. A little bit of a smile here and there, and they're looking pretty confident for this day, though we don't see the side of MLT. But yet again, like the panel said a while ago, Zach, it's more of an even ground compared to what we saw from our first series for today. So let's see what they're capable of for this time around. This is Elite. This is the final step towards that championship in Brazil.
of course, whoever wins this tournament, it's all or nothing here on the line for these teams, and they will be representing us in APAC. I think that yesterday, in a kind of talk that I did with a couple of other talents
Mhm.
here, I think that we did agree that Orangutan is kind of that dark horse that has the capability to possibly make it to the finals, steal that slot away, play that cards right. But for Orangutan in this particular round, I think on defense, it's interesting to see how much early information they're finding, especially towards this B. That's a lot of utility. They're jumping early on to find those cues. And towards the C side as well, if you look at the defensive setup, there's just so much value that the Viper provides you. Like, Sway can easily cycle through these smokes and just keep things challenging on that C side, as MLT, they look to aggress towards A instead.
The delay though coming in from
my
that
God.
nano swarm, and with that the
Spike
swing from Casper catches two off guard, but that's gonna be that quick trade coming in from MLT as the smoke dissipates. Japeeps was able to pick up on one kill. Now that the spike is planted, this is now a play against time when it comes to MLT's side.
3v2 situation. Samfire does have a molly on top of the spike, but it's gonna come down to the timings here on the push. Turret there for information.
enemy remaining.
Might let Samfire play, but she's in the open, and it's just gonna come down to Test, surrounded on all sides. Not much that she can do. In Orangutan, they find the defuse here. I think that that round was pretty even until Casper made that heroic play. She just pushes through the smoke to find 2 kills.
Yeah,
Illegal.
true. And just like, you know, when the timing is definitely there, especially when it comes to Omen smokes, when you figure it out when it was there, and other than that, when it's not expected that you would swing out that wide, you can actually catch a lot of people off guard. Not only that, Sway as well from drop, that triangle formation that OGX was able to give off, especially towards MLT's side, they could catch them from left, right, to the back, to the center even. That's going to be a 1-0 coming in from OGX. And of course, an immediate buy on a Phantom actually from Turley.
Yeah, I mean, when you have the credits, you might as well invest them through, and that will make that bonus round look a little bit more tempting. Orangutan, they have early information towards A site. They have control of it, and that will let these two players play a bit more aggressively towards B, where the plans appears to be coming. Ilubu, though, will find a trade thanks to the Sheriff as Japeeps finds a kill, and just like that, it's a 4v4. The spike goes down, an additional lane being pushed here by SMG, but they bite off a little bit too much more than they can really chew here. Ilubu was the one to find that first kill, but she will be the one to take shut down at the end as well. Orangutan, they find their second round with that gun advantage as expected.
Other than that, though, MLT was still able to secure that plant, a little bit of an addition towards that economy on the next round that we are looking at, which is their buy round. To be fair, for these two teams right now, especially when it comes to Lotus, there's a lot of things that you can actually do. You can still sell a fake, for example. You can still go rotate all the way to the other side, especially when it comes to the lurks as well. And anyway, both of the teams also do have that double smoke composition as well. So we might be seeing a lot, or I'm expecting a lot of rotations coming forward or moving forward in the next following rounds. But let's see, with this full buy coming in from MLT, it seems like it's going to be a C hit, but a lot of traps are waiting for them as well.
Exactly, like that Viper Killjoy util, it's just going to be so incredibly difficult to get through. I think one of the mollies got broken by that spray, but there's still some setup on site, especially with the turret to slow down the push. It could very easily cut off Ilubu as she tries to dash in and make some space. Molly comes in along with the dark cover to buy a little bit more time. But MLT, they're just going to try to wait this utility out as they try to make the execute on that C site. Still, a couple of players from Orangutan holding strong on the site, cutting these angles off, but Luna finds that first opener. Sway on site, though, holding strong, only finds one before Ilubu takes her out. In the trades, they go in favor of MLT as they take control of the site.
Very important trade coming in from Ilubu at that point as well. And if you actually saw what happened a while ago, the smoke off from the jet caught the sky flash from a while ago. But look at this, Twirly making some progress here with a double kill, but a quick shutdown coming in from the side of MLT. A 2v2 situation, and Ilubu finds one. They reposition as well. They know they have the spike plant, and other than that, there's still a turret waiting for it.
Retake looking a little bit difficult. Smoke comes down, tries to go in for the defuse, but Casper gets tagged up so heavily here. At this point, it might just be her attempt to find some of these kills for her side before the round gets over. She goes on the hunt, but Eluvu is good for 3 by the end of the round. And MLT, they find their first. It got a little bit dicey there, but I think Eluvu being able to find that crucial trade here on the side, kill after kill that she gets, it's just incredible.
Definitely. Was too scared though with that Omen TP that they were able to catch. But at that point, Eluwu definitely on point when it comes to the rounds that we saw here so far. And that would help them a lot. Aside from that, when it comes to the next round that we have here, round 4, Seekers is definitely there for Japeeps. And other than that, it's only 3 orbs away for Twirly. A kill, maybe 2 orbs when it comes to Twirly for that showstopper. But let's see if she can get it this round. Other than that, that turret is already broken down to Casper. Smokes off. She smokes off back, basically.
Ooh. Eluvu though just able to walk up, Sway not expecting it, and a second one to boot. She takes down Twirly, huge kill there. Casper there for the punish as Eluvu looks to get a little bit more aggressive, shuts them down. 4v3 situation, Seekers invested to try and buy some space on site. However, Orangutan, they're falling apart. Can't find it, just Casper and Japeeps, the OGs left it out. 1 enemy huge kills. Is all down to her. Not gonna be happening as Tess takes down both of them. Really nice positioning in the post plan from MLT to make these trades happen in their favor. But Eluvu, man, she is on point today.
They're really confident on the takes they're doing right now. Even Eluvu disrespecting the smoke here could be a possibility for their side, but good composition, or rather good decision making coming in from OGX, especially from Casper, to stay inside that smoke and expect that disrespect from the smoke as well. But for MLT's side, like you said, Zach, really good post-plan position here. You really see them taking point and taking control of the site and really covering those corners despite Japeeps getting a double kill. It wasn't matter or wasn't an issue much because the 2 players are still on the site itself.
Yeah, I think that it was, like I said, the post point coming out of MLT, it was pretty much perfection. Like, they were ready to swing and play contact off the back of each other, which is why Tess found both in that angle. That said, though, for Orangutan, the economy looking to be a little bit in dire straits. Not much to work with weaponry-wise. And you do see already the dash and the play in Eluvu once again to find these openers. A trade at least there from Eruma, who takes that Envious, who TPs right inside that Cloudburst. Unfortunately, though, for MLT, at least they're able to get that spike down and get that post one ready to go. Luda with another double kill, in fact, towards the door there. Twirly with the stinger finds that first one off the showstopper, like you mentioned, but Tess will take care of it, and that will be MLT taking the lead.
Such a cheeky play if you think about it. Envious using her ult rather, and basically Eluwu helping that out, having that cloud burst just to make sure that she's not gonna get spotted like the way it was a while ago for Casper when she TP'd from C. But in other words, for MLT's side, looking good so far at 3-2. Other than that, they have a Blade Storm here. They also have a Seekers available. But again, Twirly with a showstopper can make something out of this.
Early showstopper invested, like you mentioned, Twirly looking to let it fly here, but unfortunately Eluvu more than ready to just peek through that one way, use it in her favor, and take Twirly down. That's the ultimate that we were talking about that will be taken out early on here. However, Orangutan, they're quick to use it as bait and now take down so many of these players on the MLT side before they can make any kind of headway in. Not only do they find 3 kills there, it's going to be the spike dropped as well.
That showstopper just basically shut down by one single flash coming in from a sky. Casper creeping forward here on a one-way smoke as well. It's a 4v2 situation. They have the man advantage, and this sky flash will also give them a little bit of an info as well. With the snake bite coming out, they know exactly where Tess would be, and they're just waiting patiently at this point. It's a basically three people from OGX waiting patiently.
but Samfire on the swing, able to find Casper. That will be that though, because Iruma and Japeeps are both ready to swing on Casper's contact. They get the trades and the round for Orangutan. Really nice strategy coming out of them. I think that for MLT, once they found this opener, they weren't expecting the two remaining players, and that flash coming out of Japeeps, it was just perfectly timed to catch these players off guard. And Orangutan, of course, once you give them the spike, they're not ones to mess it up. So they hold on to the round. That said, though, for MLT, they have a lot of these swing ultimates really available. The lockdown to take the site, the Seekers for the info, one off of the Viper's Pit for Tess to get that spike down, and of course the Bladestorm for Alubu to charge in. They have so much to work with in this round.
Viper's Pit soon to be available, we would say. And other than that, this is going to be a good post-plan scenario if ever they're able to take on a side. But that's the question. Can they take a side that they want to right now? Creeping up towards C, opening doors, making a little bit of control, and making OGX try to rotate and wonder where they are right now.
Yeah, that noise towards B as well, it's huge here. Twirly has taken a lot of space, pushing out of A completely, in fact. That's going to be a little bit of additional pressure that this squad has to deal with. MLT, though, they take that information from the turret and push forward on C instead to try and get that spike down. Samfire on the lurk has to try and find something. Instead, we'll be just falling back to buy. Use that lockdown maybe for a little bit of additional time. Twirly on the hunt, checks the corners, and just like that, we're looking at a full 5v5 retake. And MLT, they've taken up so much space towards his CT here. The Seekers come out of Orangutan's side, all of them on the flank, in fact, and it's gonna come down to who does win these engagements towards spawn. Casper just waiting for the rest of the team to find something. Samfire and Luna, though, they're able to go huge. It's just down to Casper, finds a double, and now it's a 1v1 at the end.
Huge flank coming in from Casper here, trying to pinpoint the spike right now. The flash settles in, not half for the spike.
Oh, no.
Casper really low on the HP. They know this, and that's gonna be a round going towards MLT's side. That point, if you don't have the spike, it's already 0 to no chance with the time ticking away.
One enemy remains.
Casper almost had it as well. Like you mentioned, she let go of it just before it got all the way to half. Really nice timing to come out of Luna to clutch up the round. And like you mentioned, MLT, they find 4. Orangutan, though, they expected that lockdown play to be coming, and I think that's why they went in for kind of a very flank-heavy attempt at a retake. That said, MLT were quick to adjust, and the holdout of Luna in particular in that round, I think that's what really won them that particular round.
I do like this early timeout called by Orangutan X as well. At least for the time being, they're going to be able to talk about what's going to be the next plan here, the next strat moving forward in the round, especially with Iruma having that lockdown available and for a retake scenario to happen as well. We are looking at the Viper's Pit, still not used at this point. A lockdown from Samfire, not even used at this point. And I was actually expecting, we didn't see it on the kill cam itself, but I was actually expecting for OGX to win that engagement from doors on C-Long, especially it was a 3v2 scenario, and they also had Japeeps, if I'm not mistaken, and probably had a flash, but nonetheless, it's over and done with. It's a reset for them. It's a 4-3.
I think that timeout, it might have been a little bit of a slowdown of the momentum that MLT were slowly but surely building up as these rounds progress. I think that for Orangutan, they still do have the lockdown in Iruma's hand, so it's going to be a perfect counter for whatever Samfire does cook up. That said, though, Orangutan, they've been a bit hit or miss in their early info-seeking plays, whether it's towards that A or B side. So you can see them kind of just trying to play together here. Twirly alone on the C side does have Sway with utility for a little bit of backup, but they're just walking into sight. Sway doesn't spot it. It's going to come down to the timing, and Twirly has the swing advantage, takes out Alubu. The trades, though, attempt comes in from Luna, Satchel from Twirly to try and buy a little bit more space to contend with, and I think whoever does win this confrontation, it'll be the job to come in. Luna forced to fall back, low HP to boot, and now the defender lockdown coming in early on this A side. Might counters the Viper's Pit at least a little bit, but there's a lockdown of their own for MLT.
Fortunately for Luna, she can't heal herself. This is a waiting game, patience game from the side of MLT. They still have that lockdown as well. They have to fight or either disperse out, but time is dwindling away. Japeep still has flashes here to control over those smokes as well. 4v3 situation. And Japip's caught by that ultimate from the Killjoy.
Yeah, no, I think she thought she could get away in time, but it wasn't happening too early though. Still powering forward, able to find that first kill, but the clock gets ticked through, and with the Viper's Pit still being online, it's gonna be an impossible retake here. Orangutan X, they're just looking for a couple of exits, maybe hoping that they could make the players die to the spike, and it seems like they will find at least one frag. But Envious, she'll prevent Japips from getting away herself. Will end up falling to the spike, but Orangutan, that's gonna be only one rifle that they can carry into this next round, and their economy, it's on its last legs.
They've already used up the 2 ultimates as well from Killjoy, that lockdown, and also that Viper's Pit from Tess. And for the time being, for OGX, I think this would be a save instead. A hero buy coming in from Tor. Oh, rather, this was a save from their last round that we just saw. And maybe Japeeps can also get some Stinger in the mix just to make that firepower more or more towards their side. That early flash info gathering is very important, especially in a map like Lotus. Wow, what a push. That's going to be too early. Catching one yet again. 4v3 scenario here. MLT, it seems like 1 by 1. They're being caught off guard here by OGX, but they actually take space on B side to make a plant happen. Luna, though, she was able to pick up on 1, and that's going to be that trade coming in from Japeeps. 2v3 scenario. They try to find Samfire on the corner. That's going to be on the left, and that's the crossfire from OGX, securing the round itself. It's a thrifty, to be fair.
Really nice positioning as well, like you mentioned, towards spawn to catch the players from MLT off guard. They had the numbers disadvantage. They had to make a play to try and regain it, and I think that's the attempt at a push that we saw. But despite that, in that close range, the Sheriff and the Ghost both going huge there to find these kills. Really, really nice teamwork coming out of Orangutan overall. And I think the fact that Twirly was able to save that rifle along with that Stinger that you mentioned, Terror, I think those 2 weapons, they really were able to gain them the advantage despite them not having the economic situation to work with. Now it's MLT's turn to go in for a bit of an eco.
Despite having that 2-round deficit from the side of OGX, again, those rounds that we're looking at were very close to a point where when it comes to economy, 1 loss of a round will already be punishment enough for the team. Sway, though, almost getting a kill here towards that Omen. But other than that, the Pit, or rather the Snakebite, trying to really punish the players here of MLT. And just a little bit of a delay just to make sure that the other members of OGX makes a rotation.
Oh, Envious though with the classic finds an opener on the Casper. Orangutan are quick to strike back though. They flood into side, find a couple of kills. Envious and Testo, they're still fighting. The controllers for MLT going up huge, bringing things down to a 2v2. Seekers now to be invested by Japan to smoke out the position. The double swing, it's there, but Envious still finds the kill so low and still doing the damage. It's all down to Twirly. She snuck up close and personal. However, Envious, it's gonna be a huge run coming out of her. A double with the classic, a double with the Vandal. 13 HP is all she needs. As MLT, they find 6 and a thrifty to counter Orangutan's thrifty.
A thrifty back. I like this match already at this point of the half. But as we look into it as well, with that 4K coming in from Envious, that was huge to think of. I think she was already very low all the way from C-Long a while ago. Not quite sure if she was healed up by the Sky, but nevertheless, that was no armor all in all together. And with that, MLT secures a round here, 6-4. They do have a Seekers available as well. That ult from Envious, not yet used up, might be big when it comes to especially big rotations if they want to plant or get that spike. Twirly, just waiting patiently when to throw in the paint chills if there is any. But no one really to get that info. That Sky Flash didn't catch anyone as well.
Yeah, it seems like MLT, they have their sights set on the A point of the map this time around. They put the pressure towards Dora as well. A quick execute off the back of the Paranoia and the Seekers to go forward here. Again, the Omen ult from Envious onto site with the spike this time around to get it down, and it's a completely open plant. Orangutan, they opt the A side for the retake. and now they're gonna have to clear all of the space by themselves. Trailblazer to push a Luvu off the angle, but she's quick to try and go back for a little bit of fighting here. Envious again finds an opener onto Casper, a second to boot before Sorely finally stops the trade here, and of course Luvu with the spray down, still blinded, finds two. It's just Peeps, a 1v3 to clutch this one out, and for Orangutan, it's looking a little bit difficult, at least in this particular round.
Especially you have two players on tree that could trade up quite easily as well. Might go for the kill on that turret. This gives info that she's on site, and Envious to take on the kill instead. And so far, Envious coming in so hot right now when it comes to the rounds that we're looking at. 4 kills, next to 3 kills as well. And this just racks up the points towards their side and makes it difficult for OGX to make retakes happen when they have lesser people on their team as well.
I mean, this is just that SMG pedigree that we're talking about, right? Whether, of course, Envious used to be on that particular roster. So I feel like every single ex-SMG player, they just have that potential to pop off when it comes down to it. And this is Envious's time to shine. Final round of the half, though, like you mentioned, Orangutan, they definitely have the advantage when it comes to ult economy here. The Showstopper in particular from Sorely, kind of ready to go if necessary. Viper's been as well on site to make the seaside even more difficult to really push onto. A little bit of damage being done through the smoke and sprays. Japeep's getting tagged up quite a bit thanks to the Viper utility, but at least she will be able to heal Sway back up here.
Lots of ult ready up for the side of OGX, but yet again, they still don't have a brief idea where the players of MLT might be. Twirly moves further back. I think they're actually assuming that this might be a heavy rotation coming in from MLT, and she doesn't want to get stuck in a one-and-done position here. And that flash, a little bit of an info gathering situation here for MLT's side. Though, this is a wall coming in from a Viper that will help them out, at least, to say the least. And Twirly, this is ready to pop. That's going to be the first kill that we're looking at, and dash away, or rather, satchel away at this corner. And the Japeeps as well, catching one. It's a 5v3 situation.
Yeah, they fall back. Really nice movement to come out of Japeeps to keep herself alive. She has 1 HP, by the way, and she's able to just get a little bit of sustain back towards her teammate. Unfortunately, the Luna looks to get aggressive. 2 kills already on the round. Soundfire with the 3rd, and suddenly OG's advantage, it falls apart. It's just Japeeps in a 1v3, 1 HP and a dream to work with, and the dream will not come into fruition. MLT, they take the lead on their map pick. 8-4 half that we saw.
Really crisp on the shots that we're looking at, but other than that, of course, let's hear it from the panel on what they think about this first half.
First off, I think that previous round was so impressive, okay? That was like, all of the utility was working towards Orangutan X's favor, as well as, the numbers advantage, but MLT was able to turn it around. How did they do that? Teamwork, right? The teamwork was there. There was more synergy on the side of MLT. Unfortunately, we're seeing on the side of OGX that new roster switch coming in. It just looks like it doesn't have time to fully gel.
Yeah, I mean, this is MLT's map pick, and for good reason, right? We see how well they play that attacking side. OGX, they did have a couple of great rounds themselves, but it's the dynamic, rotations coming in from MLT. They collect information, they get map control, and then they decide, okay, let's fake C, maybe we go A, and then they spot out a bit of contest there. They know the rotations have already come in, and then they pivot, right? They've so many rounds they've pivoted from the A side to the B side, from the B side to the C side. It is really dynamic, and I love to see that. With a great attacking half, I can't wait to see the defending side.
How fast can they rotate on the defending side? Faster than Apes, maybe? We are gonna find out as we step back into Lotus and pass it on over to our casters.
Welcome back here on the second half itself. Zach, if we look at the map Lotus, we always say it's usually attacker-sided. Do you think that Orangutan X would be able to make a little bit of a comeback happen quite easily?
I think for sure, because I think the main thing that makes Lotus so attacker sided is the presence of those three ult orbs, right? And how
Mm-hmm.
much they're in control of the attackers, except for the one on the C side, which is a little bit easier to contest by the defense. Both B and A are relatively just open for the taking. So I think if Orangutan can charge up these ults pretty quickly, it might be what they need to kind of narrow this gap. It starts with the pistol, of course, but Orangutan in particular, I think on this map, they have a pretty successful history to boot. So it could definitely still go either way. That said, I've been very happy to see how MLT have been just popping off. In particular, of course, Eluvu, always very consistent, Pakistan's first Radiant female player, and she's been kicking ass and taking names ever since then. That said, though, the rest of the team, they're stepping up huge as well. And I think that Luna and Envious in particular, they've improved a lot since we saw them during the LCQ event, where through which MLT qualified in that upper bracket. So I
Yep.
think that definitely they have a potential to put on a show here.
Might be deadly here though, because there's also that orb from the Viper that they have to cross if ever, and they don't mind at all crossing that. 29 HP. This can be done and over with, but Twirly survives instead. Gets back her HP rather, but that's gonna be Samfire taking on 2 kills as well. 3v2 situation in just a blink of an eye.
Tagging done as well to both Swirly as well as Sway. So definitely still a winnable situation despite that number disadvantage. Envious though pushing through the molly with the right click, finds the first. Swirly there for the immediate trade though, and now it's all onto Eluvu's shoulders. Orangutan, they're opting to play on the site because of how that plant has been positioned. It's a safe plant, so Eluvu might be able to pick apart these fights. It's just gonna take one bullet, a headshot there, looking for the second kill, but Sway in that close range with 9 HP will come out on top, and Orangutan, they take that pistol that they really needed.
Takes a little bit of time to pull out the sheriff back again on your hands after that dash as well. Good on OGX though. They were still able to secure that final kill, especially with the space that was created by that dash. 5 to 8, and that allows them to buy off for the next round as well. We're looking at Twirly yet again with a upgrade towards that Phantom. And decently, especially when you have a raise on the attacker side here, you can punish a lot of the traps that has been set, especially coming in from a Killjoy. Look at this, 4 people waiting patiently and trying to push in on C Long. This is a lot of space that was taken away.
They're just waiting, man. So much. Casper will be hearing all of this cues, and Orangutan, they're gonna take a fight all the way in their spawns early with the Phantom, able to find 2 kills, though Eluvu at least finds some damage of her own. Orangutan, they're just in a holding pattern. They expected this kind of play to come out of MLT, and now that they've garnered the advantage, they're gonna be quick to rotate onto that A side. Samfire now in a 1v4 finds the first, though. That's Sway taken down. Possibility of a weapon to be retrieved, and I think that that's exactly what Samfire has on our mind. Now we're looking at the Killjoy versus Killjoy battle, and the Spectre run and gun. It might be just a little bit too much for Samfire to deal with. The molly to boot as well. The spike itself, Orangutan will be able to get it down quite easily, and it's just up to how much more Samfire can find. Unfortunately, nothing as Iruma finally takes her down, but that was a nice try from MLT, that push.
Too much pressure though. If you hear that toot, 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 it's already like time ticking, or rather time ticking away. And aside from that, the punish from the nano swarms just to push her out of the site or trying to get onto A site. Other than that though, OGX, really good read. And especially for MLT side, they weren't really trying to suppress noise onto C Long as well. So any lurk or anyone who was left on B or in mid was able gonna, or rather would be able to hear that as well.
Yeah, I think that the way MLT are playing, they're definitely getting these sound cues quick on. The trouble is that Orangutan, they're just taking so much control on the map for free. Like, even this round, like, look at how far Sway's gotten to watch for the lurk onto B. The rest of the team makes their way to A, and there's still a lurk on C as well. So much map control that we see coming out of this Orangutan squad. MLT, they're kind of left forced to just play passively here, trying to go in for a possible retake situation instead. And of course, when you look at the ultimates, Orangutan, despite that economic disadvantage, they have that showstopper to work with.
Yeah, and I think that's also the reason why MLT is playing further on the back as well. They don't want to be punished immediately by that showstopper. They would rather have wait on it, or maybe make a retake scenario happen instead of dying off from that showstopper. But let's see what will happen on this round, as two players also have only sheriffs. This is gonna be that showstopper that we were waiting
Oh
for.
my
That's gonna be
God.
one man down. Envious to go
30
away,
seconds
and
left.
they know that Luna is just right around the corner, wrapping into them as well. No double kill for you as Sway shuts her away. 4v3 situation. And now they try to plant the spike. 18 seconds remaining though. Not yet planted. Samfar just waiting patiently. 13 seconds remaining. Trying to skirmish down on the side. Alubo goes for the swing and instead dies off.
Died underneath our boots.
I like how the spike didn't get planted at all until everybody died in that round, but that's the kind of it was honestly a really nice play from MLT, just that they weren't able to overcome that initial disadvantage off the back of Twirly finding that kill with the showstopper, right? They knew that the clock was ticking, that it was down to like 10-15 seconds, so all they had to really do was try to deny the plant. And in the end, with Elubu taking that 1v1 against Casper, with the amount of time that was left, it might have been better to just try to play Ring Around the Rosie, but unfortunately for MLT's side, that's going to be a great bonus to come out of Orangutan. Exactly what they want. And now for their buy, they're going to be having the Viper's Pit to boot. You can see that Iruma was ready for the expected orb control on B because of the fact that Elubu needed to place them, but not quite able to stop it. However, they're still waiting to get these kills, and Elubu, who goes aggressive, will be taken down. Talking about taken down, the Luna with the Sheriff finds two. Immediately, that's going to get MLT back into this.
She's really crazy on that sheriff shots as well. Kept connecting since a while ago. Japeeps onto the plant already. They, or rather, two of the players here of MLT already have those vandals on their hands as well. This might help them out in this retake scenario, especially it's a 4v3 as well. And as we look into the positioning of the players for the time being, Tess might be able to spot two. That's gonna be it.
Ooh.
Twirly secures that first kill, making it a 3v3.
Looking a little bit more closer here. Twirly with a second as well finds the timing onto
enemy
Envious.
remaining.
Now it's to Twirly all the way. The pain shows the to find another kill. It's just down to Samfire, and she's surrounded on every single side by OGX, and she can't unfortunately do anything. It's gonna be another attacking round successfully converted for Orangutan. And Twirly, man, I think, look, we have a saying in EMEA that Turkish duelists are just something else. I think it's the same for APAC. All these Filipino duelist players, they just
They
do
don't
not
have fear.
They don't have fear, no fear, and Twirly just goes storming in. She's been so incredible throughout the second half for Orangutan, leading the charge, exactly what you want to see out of your duelist. And this is a nice flashback as well, because if you remember last year's GC, I think that she was kind of the sixth player on that Ren Victor's roster. You only really saw her on Fracture when she pulls out that neon, but to see her shine in every single map, it makes me so happy, because Twirly, she's just amazing.
Really, really good spacing as well when it comes to taking those initial pickoffs, initial fights, really confident swings coming in from her that basically secures kills here and there, that opens up a side for the entire team of Orangutan. The thing is, the question is, will it continue all the way, or will MLT bounce back on this momentum that they had from that first half? They were really doing good. And to be fair, this map that we have right now is really a 50-50. As you can see on the scoreboards as well, it's an 8-8.
The problem here is that for Orangutan, they've looked so much more confident since that side swap happened. We were talking about it before we went into the half, right? About how attacker-sided Lotus can tend to be. And Orangutan, they're definitely taking full advantage of it. That said, though, MLT, they finally have a chance to stop them in their tracks. You can see the operator coming out of Eluvu, going to be positioned towards this A site here, watching for Rubble and maybe the cross that might possibly come through. Orangutan, though, they're just looking to set their sights on B instead, possibly because of that Viper's Pit that they have available.
They do have the orb from the Viper there as well, so this might be a little bit of a security if they do want to rotate. Aside from that, if obviously for Sway to actually lurk around, and instead she dry peeks the angle which Alu was watching over. That's gonna be the operator securing its first kill.
Huge as well. That's Sway on the lurk. She's been taking so much space here off the back of her walls, but with her being shut down, I think that MLT, they're going to be feeling a little bit more confident about bringing their players over towards this B side. Envy is taking the confrontation head on. Will find the kill, though unfortunately Japeeps will trade her out. That said, Casper being taken down so early on, that's going to make this retake a little bit more difficult thanks to the lack of the smokes here. Luvu's still watching the aim. Oh, the shot goes wide though as Japeeps takes her down, and suddenly Numbers looking to be a little bit more on equitable footing. Multiple players trying to storm in through CT. Eruma with the jiggle to find that first. Japanese is holding for the second, finds the shot, and it will be Orangutan to manage another successful attacking round. So much control taken towards CT, and with the Luvu going down there was just no hope left.
Like you said, especially when you take B side here, you're 80% to 90% surely gonna lose if you just hold B main. You really have to make a control happen on CT or on Link as well. So with that, OGX really securing the round here as well. And also the side, when you look at it, again, the beauty of having a Raze on your team compared to a Jet for the meantime as an attacker is you're going to be able to secure or kill off the traps that Killjoy has been setting up from maybe C or even onto B side. And it allows them to really have that big of a space.
All it takes is a couple of satchels, or just one satchel, which, again, like you mentioned, it's just so useful to be able to take care of that pesky Killjoy toaster oven setup, because, you know, you can dash through it, you can satchel over it, but it's still going to cut you off from the rest of your team. So exactly what you want to see to avoid that kind of scenario. Now for MLT, economic situation looking a little bit dicey. They do have a lot of retake ults available, in particular that lockdown. So I think it could still be a round that's viable for them if they can hit a couple of crazy shots. That said, Orangutan, they're being incredibly patient so far. Once again, testing the waters towards the A site, where they found success in the past while creating some kind of distractions towards B instead. So once they've caused a rotation over from MLT, who have left the A site completely empty, it's going to be the full execute to come in.
Time to hit is what they say for the side of Orangutan X. A side is quite open for them to take, and this might be heavy rotations coming in from MLT, knowing that they also have a judge here in the hands of Eluwu. To be fair, she still has that updraft available to use, so we might be seeing a good retake scenario to say the least. Twirly takes on a kill with the paint shells towards Luna. A little bit of a damage on the other members as well. Eluwu still has that Guardian. Popping heads is what she can do. Twirly, on the other hand, she knows exactly where the other player is going to be, and Envious left alone.
Just a 1v2 situation, still very viable. Unfortunately, though, Casper attacks her enough that the turret will find the kill on Envy. It's something that she could really do there. Yeah, your pseudo 6 player just coming in for the clutch at the end. And Orangutan, they find double digits. That is 6 rounds that they've had in a row so far here, Terror. And I feel like there's just no wrong that they can do. They've been great at cycling through these ults. Too early on the openers, and just the lurks that come out of Eruma, Sway, and Casper between the rounds, the spacing that they have. MLT, they just look so disjointed in comparison.
That's the thing for OGX. They can't lose the momentum right now if they want to win this first game that we're looking at. Again, this is a map pick by MLT. A comfort map, to say the least, for them as well. Luna, she has that flash to be taken away. Twirly already popping the showstopper here. Where does it go? That's going to be the question. She's just lurking around, but that alone secures a lot of a space for the side of OGX already. They know there's going to be no one on Waterfall.
There's going to be popped though by the defenders to try and at least smoke out the positioning of these players. Eluwu with a nice peek takes down not just Sway, but also that Viper's Pit. So that's going to force Orangutan to come at the lockdown to buy a little bit more space for themselves to work with. I think that it will at least let them push forward here, but numbers still firmly in favor of this MLT roster as that spike goes down. Now it's teleport to Loot. Oh, but it's a detain there. Casper and CT finds 2 kills before being shut down. The trades are equitable though, and now it's just a 2v2. Seekers come out from Japeeps off the back of those kills to chase down the position of these remaining players. Eruma will find Envious off the back of that, and now it's a 2v1. All down to Luda. She's been incredible so far today, but with the clock ticking and the swings out of OG, there's nothing that she can really do. Orangutan, another round for them, 11-8.
Perfect timing for the Seekers as well to let them know exactly where the players of MLT are, especially Envious used up her ulti as well. Despite that, she was caught by the lockdown. This means that they had to wait a little bit longer compared to what they're supposed to wait on. And this gave away at least OGX a little bit more time, a little bit more space to try and reset and make something happen on this post-plant scenario. Now they only need one more point to make a match point happen here. Eluwu though, Blade Storm is up and online. They're really aggressive towards C Long, and this is going to be a 3-man push towards that. Eruma hearing all of this. She knows exactly what's happening. She's aware. The thing is, she's going to get one. That's going to be the Blade Storm down. The shot's not connecting, and she was able to take 2 before she goes down.
Very, very unfortunate for MLT there. Like you mentioned, the Blade Storm being taken out of the equation, as well as Eruma finding another kill. That trade coming in just a little bit late, causing problems. Testo, aware, Casper tries to take a little bit of space up closer, still will get shut down, and that's a rifle that could possibly be retrieved, which is why you see the adjustment from Orangutan to take and push towards that lane. Instead, Tess on fire for another kill if she plays her cards right, but it's really to find the timing on the aggression. Now just 2 players left, both trying to come in through this broken door here. Orangutan just lying in wait for not much that they can
One enemy remaining.
try and push out, but there's just too many crosshairs trained at this angle. And Orangutan, they find match points, an undefeated attacking half so far.
Match point.
Taylor, I don't think, what is it, 8 rounds in a row? Yeah, 8 rounds in a row.
Well, like I said a while ago, attacker-sided map is what we're looking at here. It's Lotus. And other than that, this aggressive play coming in from Twirly, this really pushed up positioning, helps her a lot in taking space. And not only that, catching players from MLT off guard. Because if you think about it, even if you are close to a sky and a sky flashes out, it would be more further away from you. And you're going to be able to catch people off guard trying to set up utilities. But anyway, brand new round here for MLT. Investment on the operator. Question is, will it be able to catch anyone? This is a one-way smoke being set up as well. That's going to be the first kill.
Eluwu actually takes advantage of that one-way smoke to just find the angle and peek through. That Sway taken down, so no more Viper utility available for the rest of the round. But hey, that's why you have 2 controllers. Casper is still alive and kicking here, and Orangutan, they look to regroup towards this B site possibly. They don't have the lockdown to try and push through off the back of, but they are looking to find safety in numbers here. 4 players all together looking to push up. There's still a crossfire being held by MLT towards this choke point, and in the meantime, Eluwu, another kill for her towards the C-Long, looking for a third, not gonna quite connect. It's gonna be the Paranoia instead, and now she's surrounded on every single angle. Still not stopping her. 4 on the round, looking for a little bit more. Finally shut down by Eruma here. Now it's 2v4 for Orangutan.
Remaining.
1v4 as Casper finds yet another kill, but Luna will take down both players and be able to retrieve that operator. So MLT, they stay alive.
Damage has been done. That's what Eluwu would say after those round, or after that round that we just looked at. Took them quite a while before they actually found her away. I was actually worried with Casper or with Eluwu basically that the Omen already TP'd on site, that they weren't still able to find him away or find her away. 12-9 in this end. OGX on a match point. Casper available on that ult. Eruma 1 orb away or 1 kill away. Either of the 2. But so far for MLT, they just really have to get that nice reset that we basically saw from the previous round.
Yeah, Eluwu, she's gone back towards this A site. I think this is exactly where she was able to find the advantage on Sway the last time around. So you can see Sway kind of just waiting patiently. It's going to come down to the timing of the peak here, and if Eluwu can reposition in time. I think so far, though, at least on A side, things have been looking a little bit quiet. Orangutan, they're just waiting for a possible mistake out of this defender squad to make things happen. Sway with a jump peek baits out the op shot, so they know exactly where Eluwu is going to be playing, forcing her to reposition here. And in the meantime, on this B side, Eruma, she's taking control of this orb to get that lockdown ready to go, and that might make approaching this B look a little bit more easy.
You could already see in the camera of Sway as soon as that op shot was open, or rather was popped, she was already telling them that it's A, the operator is on A, This might be a B take though for the time being here in Orangutan, especially they still have the lurk. Japeeps
30 seconds
securing
left.
one more kill, making it uneven 4v3 situation.
Oh my God, Sway.
This is the lurk of her life.
Knife,
That's gonna
knife,
be
knife.
Sway. Is it gonna be a knife? That's the question.
knife,
It is. That's gonna be Sway. And again, if you have teammates who are Filipinos, you know what's gonna happen. You know what you're gonna be taught.
I mean, look, I was expecting the Tondo to come out of Japeeps because I know that you did request for it, Terror, as well as a couple of other people, but it seems that Sway has been learning from the Filipino brethren there. A really nice knife kill to close out the game and a beautiful lurk as well. But overall, great performance to come out of MLT. They looked pretty dominant in their own first half to end at 8-4. It's just that Orangutan, they were a little bit better. I think in particular, Twirly, I don't know what she had, a coffee, an espresso shot, a couple of IRL satchels, whatever it is. She woke up, and in that second half, she was incredible throughout. And it just makes me really excited to see how the next map is gonna pan out, because number one was so neck and neck. That said though, I think for Orangutan's side at least, despite them having those roster shuffles coming in and possible role switches, they look more confident than ever.
Yeah, like we said, Lotus map, you have to be really careful when you're going or ending up on the defense itself. That is just map number 1 though. We still have maybe one more map or 2 more maps. Who knows, right? Let's pass it on to our panel to talk about what happened here on game number 1. Mika and Golden, take it away.
Hello! Welcome to Tondo, and Sway, thank you very much for representing. Did you see her face? Did you see her face after that? She was going,
I did.
oh, she was so cute, adorable. I love it. Sway, that was a very memorable one indeed. Congratulations on that knife kill. Must have been a morale boost indeed for Orangutan X, especially since they had that massive comeback, right? And I think this is why OGX is one of our top teams here in Elite right now. They have this X factor that really allows them to come back. You can't count them out, even if they do have the numbers disadvantage, even if they're down by how many rounds. How many rounds did they manage to pull out from that comeback? I think it was like 7 consecutive rounds in a row.
Yeah, 9-1, right, was the score of the second half. There's only one round that MLT managed to scrape away, and it was all thanks to Alu's op, right? That was the only round that they really put on the board in the second half, and it kind of gives you a bit of flashbacks to Sunset, right? The first map that we saw in this here today. It was relatively competitive. The underdog team had a great showing on the first half, but then when it swapped over, OGX just completely, everybody just went on all cylinders. They were all ready and firing, and MVP given to Twirly, of course, that duelist, opening up rounds and closing them as well. Fantastic entries on that attacking side, and it was just a beautiful symphony coming in from OGX, right? Every single mistake that MLT made was punished heavily. OGX read the pushes on the flanks, they read the rotations, and they were able to fake them out. The very last round, we saw Sway, right, getting that knife kill, all thanks to those rotations being pulled for, and it kind of just summed up that second half of the map. Fantastically done.
Yeah, I feel like both attacking sides were very interesting, just because you saw how, like, for example, MLT, you did see the teamwork come in, the rotations, right? The hive mind of MLT was coming online at that point. They displayed a lot of their flexibility as well with regards to like how well they could pivot in their strategies. And the massive comeback that Orangutan X had, on the other hand, they showed how active they were, how they could actually take the momentum, take the pace of the entire game, and switch it on over to their side. And all they need usually is just one round, right? That's just one round, and they could so easily just take the momentum away from their opponent. And it doesn't matter what the score says. Any round makes that possible for OGX. That's the X factor that we're looking for when we come here at Elite, right? That's the kind of fire that we need from all of these teams. And Twirly, indeed, I do know that Zach mentioned that like all of these these duelists, these Pinoy duelists have no fear indeed. And I remember watching Twirly from her Brand Victress days, and she was definitely one of those duelists that are just, you know what, I really don't care, I'm gonna dive in there. And this is why, like, agents like Jet, like Raves, they work so well in her cooldown.
Yeah, it's one thing to have a selfless duelist that will, die on their sword, just diving straight into the site. But Twirly, she not only dived into the site, she got kills, multi-kills, and reaching a 2.0 KD, 310 ACS at the end of the map is just insane, right? When your entry duelist puts up those kinds of numbers, it really is just a testament to how great that attacking side was. There wasn't really many errors, and even if there were, right, a lot of clutch players on the side of OGX as well to bail out their team in dicey situations. So it's an amazing job coming for OGX to stabilize what seemed like a map that kind of or would have gone out of control when it switched over to the second half. It felt like a completely different team.
Well, Colden, we did say that this match was like, more evenly balanced than like our first one. I didn't expect that to be this evenly balanced, right down to even like the head-to-heads between the individual players, even down to the map picks, right? They're both like, oh, let's both pick 3-side maps. Because in our second map, we are going into Haven. So we're going to see what happens on that one right after this very quick break.
One enemy remaining. Spike. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Enough. That's done. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Got one. Delete. Toxins going up. Teleport is ready. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Winning!
to Game Changers APAC Elite, and we are down to what could be our final map of the day. That is, if Orangutan X wants it that way, then sure. But if MLT eSports has anything to say about it, then probably not. Coldan, we are going into Haven right now. What are your expectations on this map? Another three-site map for the series.
I mean, we saw how potent OGX were on the attacking side of Lotus, and I think they really understand how to play the attacking side of a three-side map. Right, the way that they pulled the rotations, the way that they caused MLT to feel so uncomfortable, the lack of information that was given to them. I think OGX just have a great footing right now, and going into another three-side map, I think with the same approach, especially starting out on the attacking side, I think OGX is in a great position to close things out if they, replicate the kind of performance on Lotus.
I definitely agree, especially since it's their map pick as well, right? They also have a lot of experience on this map. It's not a bad pick for them at all. And having picked this, of course, they have a strategy prepared for MLT. And MLT right now, they've only played this map professionally, I believe, like 5 times. There isn't exactly a lot here that is out there. If they have any secret strategies, then now's the time to actually put it into play. What are we expecting here in terms of agent composition? I'm expecting to see probably breaches and killjoys and sovas. Oh my. But as we are getting into the Orangutan X, this
Look
is
at that.
Whoa, okay, Coldan, hold on. So we're seeing a Neon on Twirly. We're seeing a Ruma back on the chamber. Hello, sir. We have missed you quite a lot. We're seeing Japips on Sova. We're seeing Astra, Casper and Astra. And we're seeing Sway on the breach. On the side of MLT, though, we're seeing something a little bit more traditional, a little safer. But what are your thoughts on this?
Oh my, OGX pulling out all the stops. They want to close this map right here, right now. I'm assuming that they've rehearsed with this composition. It's a very unconventional pick, right? Neon, hardly ever seen on Haven as well as Chamber. I mean, when was the last time we saw a Chamber on Haven itself, especially after that nerf that he had to his trademark? So I can't wait to see what we have in store. Very interesting.
I know. I don't think this is something that you can exactly prepare for, indeed, especially if you're here on the panel. So we're just gonna have to get into Haven and see how it pans out. So casters, over to you guys.
Look, Mika, I don't know if we were ready for the Chamber and the Neon pick coming out of Orangutan either, but personally, I'm super excited to see how it's gonna go. I think that, when Neon came out as an Asian, this was one of the maps that she found success on almost immediately. When people brought it out, I think it was an NA that came out first, but people were like, yo, Neon, really? And then when they saw people playing, I think it was, back then his name was Food, but it was Optic Victor who actually kind of made this meta on this particular map. So going back to those days, it makes me super happy because I love watching Neon in action. We saw it in the morning. We're going to be seeing it in this matchup, and you already know what I think about it.
Filipino agent for a Filipino player. Indeed, is what we're looking at here. And the Tondolenses counter is already won. Let's see if we find one yet again here coming in from Orangutan X. I already saw the tweet of Tash saying thank you. It was a request from her. And so far, all smiles for the side of Orangutan. And we can't see MLT right now, but they're smiling on their photos. So anyway, without further ado, this is game number 2, a map picked by Orangutan X, actually. And like you said, with your thoughts, especially in this kind of scenario, you see a breach, you see Twirly pulling out a Neon, it's going to be aggressive. That's what we all have to say. It's going to be aggressive, it's going to be scary, but let's see how MLT can handle that as well.
The thing that MLT have going in their favor is that their comp is a little bit more meta, so it's very tried and tested. They know exactly what to do with it and how to play around it. We did see moments of brilliance coming out from them on Lotus as well individually. But now they're gonna have to deal with a quick push coming out of Twirly already. A double headshot to shut down Iluvu. Takes a bit of damage from the turret, but still looking to aggress even further despite the stun. Looking to take some space towards backside, but unfortunately, it's gonna be Orangutan to come out even numbered here. 3v3 situation. Japip's quite low as well on site, so it's gonna come down to how these kills move forward. Sapphire and Aruma with a couple of their own, and at the end, it's gonna be Orangutan winning out all the gunfights to take that pistol.
One-way smoke, no problem. Stun, no problem. Twirly is gonna push through, but obviously with that amount of utility play, you are gonna be lower down on your firing rate, especially on that frenzy as well. Little scary, but good reaction to say the least for MLT on that stunts. But nonetheless, the first round going towards Orangutan gives them more space to buy off for the next round. Here we see a Bulldog on the hands of Twirly, and other than that, we also do have those Spectres on their hands. Not an upgrade for Aruma. You know that you have utilities, especially on a chamber like that. Sway, though, gets that first initial pick-off using a Ghost.
More than enough damage being done here. Aruma with the pistol of her own with a wallbang to find the kills. All of these fights towards mids, they're going completely in Orangutan's favor. No quarter being given at all. It's just down, Tess and reserves in hand, looking to find a little bit more damage possibly. But Orangutan, they've already taken over that A site.
Three
Spike
players
planted.
asking if they can shoot their rifles and SMGs because these pistols are already taking off the round, to say the least. Last two remaining players for MLT's side. Are they gonna fight this, or are they just gonna rather die from that spike detonating? But let's see. That recon didn't catch anyone. Quickly shut down from the side of OGX, expecting actually two shock darts available. They run back again. The aggressiveness coming in from the side of OGX. They can still push forward, and that's gonna be Sway and Japeep securing the round.
Twirly's just going for the knife, like she was trying to jump in.
Of course she is.
But yeah, just trying to keep that Tondo counter counting. Not gonna succeed this time around, but there's still quite a few rounds left. For MLT though, it's finally gonna be their full buy kicking in. Unfortunately, not able to do too much damage economically to Orangutan's side in that last map. In that last round. That said though, weapon advantage this time around. Maybe a little bit of aggression might reward them. You can already see a triple stack coming in on that A side towards long to find that early spacing here. And for Orangutan, they haven't really charged up these ultimates to be able to use in this round. Ruling Thunder might be coming out of Sway, but the watchword for Orangutan throughout this map so far has been quick, heavy, fast. And it seems to be a recurrence of that at least towards Garage Control, because Swirly's already taken it.
They know that Twirly is quite courageous when it comes to looking at Garage as well. Destroying those traps gives them a little bit more space and a little bit more of wondering towards the side of MLT where Twirly might be. But they're basically just waiting for the rotations of the teammates as well. And this makes them wonder and not leave C completely because they don't really know where Twirly might be. And as you can see, OGX is setting up and trying to prep up C long already, especially that they have Garage right now. That's gonna be Twirly's cue to go in and get a kill. That's go kill meta that we're looking at. Les, on the other hand, good stun from Twirly, but still caught off guard with that pick off as well. 4v4 situation here, Zach.
You can already see that MLT looking to flood back into side as well. Deny OG the space to work with. Beautiful recon to catch on the position of all of these players. Trades though still coming in. It's all down to Sway. Brings it down to a 1v1, but not able to find that final kill. MLT, they find their first round here off the back of that beautiful recon dart, but that said, it was such an expensive round. They lost 4 of their rifles, so their economy, it's going to be in a little bit of an awkward position. And remember, that was Orangutan's bonus round. They were happy to just get 4 of those rifles out of the hands of these MLT players. In fact, they were so close to winning it. If MLT hadn't been so quick to go in for the retake before that spike even went down, I think that could have easily gone either way. But MLT, they're still able to scrape together a buy, a Judge, a Spectre. Honestly, not the worst weapons that you can see, especially in the hands of your Killjoy towards Garage.
You also have to talk about that perfect flash coming in from Samfire right there.
Yeah.
It was a lot to take for the side of OGX, trades after trades, and like you said, not really going out of that round with more people that they would rather like to, but a round is still around for MLT's side, and if they can stop this kind of aggression from Orangutan X, there's more to come from the side of MLT as well.
Orangutan now looking to approach this A side. You already see the player just walk to an angle. The double peek though, a little bit too much to deal with. It will lead to first blood being taken by MLT, but Twirly quick on the trade. Now following up on that drone to take a little bit more space. Orangutan, they're only faking this A side though. The rotation seems imminent as they look to aggress towards this Garage or B possibly instead. The problem is that for Garage, they've already expended their drone and recon. They have no way to really clear this judge out aside from manually peeking. And again, the awareness is there that there might be that kind of weaponry in Garage, so they're just looking to go towards B
30
instead.
seconds left.
It's gonna come down to the timing. Envious spots out Casper in her form, and before she can come back out, finds that crucial kill. At least there's an immediate refract to come out of Jacob, so numbers still in a 3v3 situation. Sapphire is gonna be caught off guard. The flash connects, but it's a little bit too late. And Orangutan, they go in through B towards A. They haven't complete B for free.
10
That
seconds
kind of
left.
time, especially coming in from a breach, they're
planted.
quite difficult. All the way to A side. You thought it's gonna be C, you thought it's gonna be B. It's not gonna happen at all. 3v2 situation. Luna, quite low to say the least. 1 HP, 1 hit, if we are talking about it. And Tess with the judge, this might be a really difficult retake. Bound to happen. Recon available in 4 seconds here that they might be able to use up, but other than that, this would be really difficult, and I think they're already deciding to go rather for exit frags and save the guns that they have.
It's a good call as well, especially when you consider the
Last
timer is
player
ticked down that
standing.
far. Twirly, though, she's on the hunt, able to take out Tess, so that's at least one less gun that MLT will be able to save. For Orangutan, it's not that much of a problem because their economy, after these wins, it's going to be thriving here. Third round, found for them on Haven, and look at their ultimates as well. They've already gotten the Hunter's Fury as well as that Rolling Thunder in Sway's hands for this next one. Twirly with the overdrive to boot, so even if they don't have money for one of the players to buy a gun, Twirly can just use that ult instead to make this round work out. But I think throughout that previous round that we saw Orangutan, they were really good at just smoking out the positions of where exactly MLT were playing. They didn't get that plant down before they found the numerical advantage, if you noticed. And the calling out of Sway, I think throughout that round, it was pretty incredible as well to be able to just go towards A, get that spike down, and they knew that they had it completely for themselves.
Oh my
no.
god! Caught off guard. That's gonna be a Luwu going down immediately. The pinch coming in from the side of MLD, though. They were able to secure 1 trade off from that 2-to-1 trade. Not much of a value for the time being, but I do want to say that I like the lurk that Twirly is doing here as well for the rest of the team. They wouldn't be able to secure A site that fast, especially with the time constraint that they had from the previous round, if she wasn't taking control over sewers as well. So a really, really big advantage for the side of OGX having this fast of a take on a Neon. For the time being, this is going to be a C take, lurking and really lingering towards Garage here. That's going to be Envious, catching 1, maybe even 2. They weren't aware
Oh, no.
for this. And that's a 2 pickoffs quite easily.
1 enemy remaining.
Find a little bit
Spike
more space,
planted.
but it's too aggressive for her taste. Finds a huge kill, picks up the rifle as well. Now it's here, 1v3 to clutch out, finds the first kill, holds to the reload, has the Hunter's Fury as well, so a little bit more additional time with that. It's gonna come out isolated.
Oh!
That is the clutch for Japim, so 1v3 for Orangutan to get their 4th round. Absolute insanity. She doesn't even need the ult. It's just Japim's all the way. Wow, what a round.
I mean, you could already say what her priorities were at that point. She was trying
Exactly.
to really pin her down, especially the one defusing the spike, which was Envious, and really just allowing the Sova to try and pre-fire, try to shoot out, or maybe make an engagement happen. But instead, we saw a double kill for the side of OGX, especially coming in from Japeeps. She wasn't able to use up her Hunter's Fury for that post plant, to say the least. It was a 2v1. Was probably gonna be someone pushing her instead, and that allowed her to really think of and make that decision to just pre-fire and just make this thing happen, make a clutch happen, and she actually did.
Man, that was just insanity. Like you mentioned, the focus to be just spraying towards that spike and trying to get them off the defuse. She got the shot as well, which was really, really nice for her. But that said, that was an absolutely insane clutch to come out of Japeeps there. More than that, I think it was just the lack of trades that really caused problems for MLT in that round. Like, you saw that their focus was the spike, but they had enough time. They could have taken the 2v1 against Japeeps and tried to win it out instead of whatever just went down. But hey, we're just second guessing here. At the end of the day, Japeeps, she was able to clutch it out, and that was an eco round for MLT. So despite the loss, they're still gonna have the economy to buy up for this one. They're getting close to a lot of their own ults as well to counter, in particular that Hunter's Fury as well as the Rolling Thunder for Sapphire. So I think that if Sway looks to get aggressive with her own ult, definitely a retake possibility available for Sapphire. Sapphire here. And now once again, Alu, we saw this on Lotus before, how aggressive she was willing to get. Once again, she takes up all of the space towards mid, and that's just free information available. If Iruma decides to jump down, it's going to be a free kill unless she pre-fires that angle.
Eluvo just really waiting patiently. This, though, gives them control towards mid completely. They know there's not going to be anyone there. And probably Elu, or rather Iruma, might die off, like you said, when she jumps out of this. But other than that, it's fighting for intel, fighting for info at this point. And MLT, no aggression, aside from Elua basically going towards mid. Other than that, it's just a waiting game, patience game to say. And perhaps Elu, already getting a little bit of an info, might go for that aggression. And this can be the perfect timing for that lurk as well.
Rolling Thunder gonna be invested now by Orangutan, but like you mentioned, the lurk is finally kicking in. Eluvo has the flank, and now Orangutan, they're pincered in here. Eluvo just farming up these kills, keeping the numbers in their favor. Super low as well, so towards spawn, it's just MLT having a crossfire at the choke point, taking them down. It's just one player left alive. Casper, as always, 15 seconds, no time. It's just about how much damage she can really find here. Gets the first, looking for a little bit more, a second to boot, but that will be that. MLT, they regain control and break Orangutan's momentum successfully.
Really perfect decision making here, especially coming in from Elu and pushing. And I guess the timing just worked perfectly for her as well. Even the trademark detecting her was quite late, to say the least. She was able to spot the chamber already. And other than that, able to secure a second kill on towards a long. 4-2 is going to be the scoreline. And if we look at MLT, it's like Christmas already. They already have all the ults ready up.
Yeah, I think Christmas is the best way to say it, the way that it's been going down here. Now though, MLT, they're quick to capitalize off that momentum that they found in the previous round. They go for aggression once again and are able to punish Orangutan quite effectively, taking out both Sway and Twirly in the bargain. No trade to come through either. And now again, Aluvu, she's been so incredible at just positioning and repositioning herself up for success. The remainder of Orangutan, they look to push towards B, but the problem with B side is that in these numerical disadvantages, it's just so easy to play for the retake. Iruma with the angle to try and take out Tess first, but Eluva once again the off angle finds success, finally taken out, but it's a 2v4 situation. Orangutan, they're gonna have to take these fights, and they look to get aggressive here. The flash is perfect, and it's gonna be enough for Sapphire to confirm both of these kills. MLT, they find 3.
Really good pinch coming in from MLT's side. And if you think about it, they only used up one ult here coming in from Luna, which was the Hunter's Fury. But other than that, it's still saved up. They still have so much utilities for a retake scenario that we're looking at. And I think Orangutan knows that perfectly and would go for a timeout to talk about it as well. Economy, not really favoring them much, but we've seen them time and time again catching a Thrifty and getting Thriftied back from game number 1. So you just never know.
Yeah, you never really know how these rounds play out, especially like you mentioned the ultimates, right? Twirly has the overdrive, and that ultimate, it could genuinely be just one of the most terrifying in the game. The way, especially if you've mastered Neon's movement like Twirly really has, that you've seen so often, it can just prove to be devastating for MLT's side. But for MLT, they can play this really, really cautiously because, like you mentioned, they have 4 ultimates of their own. In particular, the Lockdown and the Rolling Thunder. It's going to be huge to be able to get onto site and get that spike down. I think that we'll most likely see a swing towards the ace site by Orangutan, possibly trying to bait out that Lockdown. I think the goal for Orangutan would be to get as many of the round ultimates out of their opponents as possible and maybe get that spike down to boot for a little bit of an economic buffer. Apart from that, if they can win the round, great. Like you mentioned, Thrifties, we've been seeing them all day today. But if they can at least smoke out these ultimates from MLT, it's going to be a great round for them.
Especially they also have an ult coming in from Casper, to say the least. If they get the good pickoffs or the pickups that they need, they can definitely use this aggression towards mid. That's going to be Aluvu dashing away. 69 HP, nice for the time being. And this is an aftershock to push her out more. But again, nothing to follow up on. Japeeps, good for 1 HP.
She got it at 1 HP as well, like just a casual fadeaway towards the back. So things still maintained in a 3v3. However, like you mentioned, both Casper and Japeeps looking incredibly low, just 1 bullet away from basically any gun that you choose to use at this point in time, whether it's a Phantom, a Vandal, or Sheriff, whatever it might be. Orangutan, they look to reposition towards the seaside where Samfire is still hanging around being a menace. It's going to come down to these engagements. The jump peak does spot out that player, so I think the flash will be invested. Counter as well coming out of Sway, and the recon, it's going to be enough to force the Rolling Thunder out of MLT's side, cutting off Sway, getting that first kill. It's just the Breach utility coming in all the way here to concuss the two remaining players. 30 seconds left. They're going to be caught in the crosshairs of Ilubu. First kill coming through the Aftershock to push Casper out, and it's going to be more than enough for MLT to get it 4-4. Like I said, for Orangutan, their goal was to smoke out these ultimates, so they got the Rolling Thunder outside. That said, though, MLT, they have repositioned themselves successfully really well after that slow start.
I do love the utility usage coming in from MLT as well. That aftershock just to secure and really punish players hiding from Cubby. And Iluwu, yet again, this aggression towards mid. OGX was trying to answer it back, but she keeps getting 1 kills. I guess that's why I'm not Radiant.
Don't worry, I'm right there with you. I'm not either, so that's why we're casters. You know, we get to talk about the game and highlight these players because we're not Radiant yet. But anyway, I think we like our job, and it's definitely a pleasure when you do have players like this. Again, Ilubu, she's been so incredibly pushing out all of these rounds, spots out the barrel of Iruma's gun, takes her out, and that's the first blood again going in MLT's favor. She's been so incredible, just taking up the space for free without repercussions. However, Twirly, she's quick to bounce back here, using the Neon to full potential, and now the lockdown, it comes out of the defenders here, but Orangutan, they're going to be able to find that kill onto the Omen. Envy is taken out, opens up the seaside, and that lockdown, it's not going to really do much. Orangutan, they keep the numbers up, and off the back of that Cosmic Divide, get a few plants on the seaside.
Little bit rattled, especially with a push coming in from Twirly again. When you set up a breach against a Twirly, which uses a Neon, it's gonna be quite difficult with the wind-up time. But looking at Iluwu right now, she's really hitting her shots, really confident on the takes, and really have good reads when it comes to the positions of the opponents. Low on the HP, that's gonna be that Cubby. Twirly, on the other hand, goes for that fight. They get the kills left and right. That's gonna be Twirly ending up with a triple kill.
No Tondo, sadly, but really great round to come out of her. Nevertheless, triple kill. And Orangutan, they find a round after 3 losses in a row. I think that, like you mentioned, Iluwu being able to find these openings has been huge for MLT. But Orangutan, they were finally able to react quickly. This opener from Twirly, as well as the awareness to be able to take out Envious towards C, and that quick rotation, thanks to the Cosmic Divide from Casper, it just set them up for success, especially if you notice the way they play that post plant, right? 2 towards long, 2 towards garage, just giving MLT no real opportunity to break these crossfires and take those fights. Now we're looking at a full op versus op duel here. Ultimate to come out of Iruma's chamber, and Ilubu has an operator finally online.
The smoke coming in from the Astra, which is Casper, by the way. I think really expecting that this operator will come into play, and they want to secure transferring or going through a main, being safe and really not get that initial pick off or give that initial pick off in the hands of Iluwu. It's still on play though. This is going to be the traps being destroyed. Iruma still has that ultimate to play around the tour de force as well. And Iluwu, clear shot, clear angle. On the other hand, shot didn't connect. She has to reposition herself. It's gonna be an A push right now, and then overdrive to the face. And for the second, that's gonna be Luna going down as well. A side secured, and the plant is on its way.
Beautiful entries to come out of Twirly here. Overdrive. I mean, when you have a Neon sliding into your DMs like that, there's really not much you can do, except unless you get a lucky headshot off, as we saw in that previous map. It might just be the call to save here for this MLT squad, with them being 2 players down. Very intelligent, especially if you consider the post plans available for this Orangutan squad as well. Hunter's Fury is still online for Japeep, so it's just going to be them trying to hold on to their rifles. That said, though, really unfortunate there that the operator has been lost. Orangutan, they've picked it up to boot, so that's going to be something else that MLT are going to have to be wary of. They've been pushing up, Iluvu in particular has been pushing up so many of these rounds, knowing that Orangutan, they're just playing for these rifles here, but with that operator coming into play, it might be just one more lane that MLT are going to have to be wary about pushing up.
Especially in the hands of a chamber as well, that could rendezvous quite easily back to where he wants to be, or rather where she wants to be at this sense at this point.
Let's play.
And so far for OGX, Turley has been phenomenal in really trying to look up on the spaces where Orangutan can rotate, and having a tree map, or rather a tree side map, you have all the choices in the world. Having Twirly run around across the map safely and getting pickoffs here really gives that opportunity for OGX to rotate in case they're stuck on a position that they don't want to be. But look at this. Bladestorm is up and online, already out onto mid. Twirly pushing in on the side itself. Japeeps was able to secure 1 kill on that Hunter's Fury. This side is open for them to take yet again.
Such nice zoning to come out thanks to the Hunter's Fury, just cutting off these players on site and even finding a kill to boot, so that's gonna be huge there. Elubu though already on the flank, looking for a little bit of damage, takes down Sway, and now the pressure is on site here. They have smoked out the position of Luma as well. The shot goes wide and Luna is able to take her out. It's all down to Casper. A 1v2 situation, does have the Asteroid 2 ready to go, so that's gonna be the first one taken out of play. Now a 1v2 situation. She's been incredible before in the past, but this time Luna walks up a little bit ahead, catches the angle, and takes Casper out. That's going to be MLT with a successful retake. And again, I have to make the point here, the rounds that they're winning, right? It's off the back of Elua's heroics. Whether she finds those early openers or just that quick flank, she's been the difference maker for this MLT squad.
And especially they take up C, a lot of space here on C quite fast. She was able to go wrap around players here of Orangutan X quite easily. Give up information that, you know, there's not going to be anyone on mid. Came from Garage, no problem at all. And you can safely make a retake happen and focus on something else compared to really trying to pincer and punish players and try to find them instead. Look at this positioning from Envious. Might be deadly for her. A one and done. And that's going to be the kill. But quickly traded off by Elubu.
Yeah, Operator gonna be back online, and that will take Sway out of the equation. However, with Envious being taken out early on, that's gonna mean no more star covers available, and that's gonna make Orangutan pushing a little bit more comfortable for them. There's just no way to cut off these crucial angles, and now once again they look to train their sights onto this B side. Jump peek from Twirly to try and catch Tess off guard. The stun connects as well, and you can already see how willing Twirly is looking to get here. The double peek too much for Tess to deal with, and that will be a crucial kill to open up sight and the plants. 3v4.
Well executed take, especially here on A Link. Now they know that it might be coming in from B Link. Instead, mid is covered by the side of OGX. No one really playing on site here. Utility wise, they still have a pull coming in from an Astra that is set up on that post plant, if I'm guessing. And Casper to get on one kill. No scope from Eluo's side. Maybe another opportunity to get this final kill towards Twirly, but she's just running around across the map.
Elubu does swap out the rifle here, but she has to be fast in this 1v3 to find these kills. Spots out the first player, gets it, but it's gonna have to be an ace clutch, and with the spike, plants in for A-Link. There's just nothing that she can really do as Japeeps finally shuts her down. It's gonna be a 5-7 half for MLT. Sure, they're a little bit behind here, but for Orangutan, with that side swap coming in, how well do you think that we're gonna be seeing them perform on defense with the new agent comp they're running? I don't know about you, but I think our panel will probably have quite a bit to say about what we've seen so far. It's another 5-7 half. I think in the beginning as well, on map number 1, Orangutan was a little bit behind, but now MLT, they're pretty close to catching up.
Let's see, coming in from our panel side, Mika and Kondan, please do take it away.
Oh, scenes from the first map, but this time around OGX on top with that 7-5 scoreline. And it was really back and forth at the start of this half, right? Both teams showing promise, both teams showing initiative in taking those early duels, but it feels like OGX, towards the second half of their first half, they slowly understood the pace of MLT. They were able to put early in very key pivotal spots. The pivot off, that one round where they went into B and then they pivoted into A. Those kinds of creative plays on the fly that really let OGX shine in this first half.
I absolutely love the Aluwu versus Twirly showdown that we're seeing, right? It's like the operator versus Twirly going in and everything. I missed Ineri for a little bit right there, that's why I name dropped her. But this is absolutely a great showdown. I can't wait to see when the sides switch around though, because as we do know, OGX does have a bit of that, X factor when it comes into attack. So let's see if the momentum does indeed swing in their favor or if MLT can close this one out. Casters, back to you.
A little bit of a setbacks coming in from Mika there for Ineri, but nevertheless, 5-7. We talk about this half that we have right now. To say the least, one pistol round can say everything or can come back for the side of MLT and make it a quick 7-7.
For sure. And I think that Haven as well, right? We talked about how Lotus tends to be a very attacker-sided map. I think for Haven as well, depending on the team comp that you're running, that can be the case. And with Orangutan opting for the Chamber instead of a Cypher or a Killjoy, which is a little bit more traditional on this map, it's gonna get them a little bit more firepower for sure. But it might be a bit more difficult for them to really defend through here. MLT now looking for a quick push onto the C side. Not much of a default really coming in. You do have one player lurking in, but Aluvu again, she's been so powerful throughout today, able to find that first kill already, and Envious from the lurk gets a second one to boot. That's going to be a 3v5 almost 15 seconds into the round.
As they say, if Twirly can be fast, Aluwu as well. Sway gets one kill here, making it a 4v3 situation. And Twirly all the way from C-Long. This might be big for the time being, but this flash is still on play. This is the last two remaining members from the side of OGX, and that's going to be Tess going down. They still have space here for Twirly to go and wrap around. Flash settles in, and Luo in the corner catches her instead. 6-7, MLT secures the pistol.
You said it, Terror. If MLT take the pistol, it's probably going to be an equalizer that we're seeing. So I think that's going to be the case here. Luvu, of course, 3 kills on the round already. 18 and 10 so far. Dominating by far on the server. So definitely the reason why this game is so neck and neck. That said, though, for MLT, I think the rest of the team, they're going to have to wake up a little bit as well now that we're in the second half. Same to be said for Orangutan. Aruma had a bit of a quiet first half. So I think that if we can see a little bit more action coming out of a Chamber, that aggression, the first peaks that we see so often on this A side, it might be a bit of a difference maker. But so far, at least, MLT, they realized that the C side, it worked for them in the past. They might be looking to repeat that in the future. Casper, once again, the only player to be on site, just going for these jump peaks. And she, too, will be falling back to try and play the 5v5 retake.
I think she learned her lesson from that pistol round a while ago. She was already thinking of going back and playing for retake, but that didn't happen. And instead, she got flash. Nonetheless, this is a round so far for MLT taking 2 players down already. Very deadly weapon in the corner. And Twirly actually wrapping around. They don't know this. It's a crossfire for the time. Ooh. And that's going to be Twirly taking on a kill. 2v2 situation. Not too bad for a pistol here on the side of OGX.
Problem here is the HP, though. The 2 remaining players for Orangutan, they're super low here. They might have picked up the upgrades at the very least, but it's going to be very difficult for them to take that space onto site, especially MLT. They're considering to push towards CT instead, to take another lane here to make sure that's not going to be where that push is coming from. However, there's going to be Luna alone on site. However, Twirly not looking in the right direction. It's just going to come down to the 1v1s, and Luna able to win out both of them thanks to that HP advantage. It's going to be another round for MLT, successfully converting their anti-eco, but it was a little bit expensive. They're going to be losing 3 of those guns.
Thought they were going to be isolating or going to be able to isolate some fights here for the side of OGX, but Luna, to say the least, very lucky position that we have right here. Really good position coming in from Luna to actually finish off the last 2 remaining members. But like you said, Zach, it hurts the economy for the side of MLT. We're looking at 2 Bulldogs in their hands for this bonus round that we're looking at. But you just never know what works out. We've seen a lot of sheriff shots happen.
For sure, and I think Twirly realizes the danger of that. She's been through that kind of thing before, so immediately choosing to fall back here, try to play on site with her teammate. The off angle, perfect here, and Twirly able to find 2 kills already. The backup from the rest of the Orangutan squad is here as well. 3 for Twirly before she finally gets taken out. And now it's just down to Luna and Samfire. Make that just Samfire with the Sheriff, finds one towards Garage, picks up the Vandal to boot. So suddenly this looks a little bit more possible until, of course, Casper with the angle, just finds another headshot. Orangutan, they win their full buy and keep 3 of their rifles. So economically, at least, they're building themselves a little bit of a buffer. And the overdrive is ready for Twirly as well. So she can always drop a teammate a gun and just be like, hey guys, I got my ult if I need it.
I'm actually quite interested what will happen in the next following rounds here, as we are still looking at an even score, to say the least. And other than that, one round can almost immediately make you have a deficit when it comes to economy side as well. And I'm just curious to see if this aggression coming in from Torley would fall back, or will it just continue to be just around the map all the way lurking. Let's see. But with that, MLT just preparing for what seems to be a control over A main, A lobby, and garage.
Yeah, they're being very careful about their approach. They know that Orangutan like to play all of these nasty off angles. First point of contact, like you mentioned, gonna be Twirly, Jiggling and Garage, gonna be taken out by that 2-person push. So huge opener there. A fake dark cover to come through as well, causing the rotation over towards C. The bait has been laid and it's been taken by Orangutan. Only Sway really left around this A side. You saw her considering to rotate as well, but he just waiting on site to try and play it out. Takes down a Luvu. That's the tip of the spear. Eliminated. And in short, Iruma able to win out at least one pick before being taken down. Numbers in favor of MLT now as they take that A side and they get the pop down.
Spike planted.
Good sell on the fake, I would say, for the side of MLT, but Chapeeps almost getting shot at. But a 3v2 situation that we have right here, if this retake goes in the favor of OGX right now, they might need to find that first initial pick off. The sucky is definitely there, and perfect opportunity to pull out the dart. And now with one more shock dart they can definitely use. They cleared out hell as well. 2v1 situation and secured for the time being. OGX, the retake is phenomenal.
Can we talk about that utility combo? They spot out Luna's position. Casper has the pull with the Astra to come in, and that makes her vulnerable. So the shock dart, even if she was decent HP, yeah, it would have been like almost 150 damage just like that. So Orangutan, incredible retake to come out of them. That was a 2v3, and they play it to perfection, especially at the end as well. Casper, just the awareness to check under heaven while her teammate is covering everything else, will let OG find 9, and that was a round that MLT had the advantage in. They had the spike down. They could have repositioned towards short instead, but Orangutan, they just picked them apart and there's no hope left. 9-7, Orangutan, they continue leading here, and it's going to be the second time out for MLT to be called, which is very interesting because even though they have a lot of ultimates that are staggered up here, they just don't have the money to work with.
They do have pistols, the sheriffs on their hands, and maybe, you just never know. If they get the right pickups that they want to get, they might be pulling out a Hunter's Fury if it allows them to, or if the team of OGX allows them to. But so far, we haven't seen the overdrive being used up yet from the side of OGX. And I'm actually assuming that maybe if ever they lose a round and it's an eco disadvantage for OGX, we might be seeing that overdrive being pulled out. But to say the least, so far they're on the lead here. They have the guns as well, and we're looking at Eluwu with one Spectre on her hand. Let's see what will happen for this round as we are looking at a stack on mid. MLT, especially Eluwu, leading the charge here. Someone in the corner, that's gonna be Iruma. She goes back and TP's back. Rendezvous, perfect, but not enough to connect the shots in. 1 HP remaining for Eluwu, still surviving.
Oh, that was chaos. That was a really nice recon though to come out of Luna, finally catching Aruma's position off guard. A little bit of whip from both sides, but all good. But it seems like MLT, they still have the numbers advantage in their favor. Full squad now kicking in to boot. They have the Hunter's Fury ready to go to try and do some damage. The Mollies as well, but they're burning through this utility quite quickly here. Burley with the stun, looking to take up space, get a little bit of that diffuse going, and while half of it is already through here, the shock dart and the sheriff shot through It's gonna be enough to clutch out the Thrifty for MLT. They played that to perfection. Every single player walking off site and just spamming utility to deny Orangutan the defuse.
Like we said, if they get the right pickoffs here, Zach, they will pull out that Hunter's Fury. And indeed, they did. And at the same time, there was no one really lurking around them, and they were comfortable enough to pull it out quite early. They still have shock darts in preparation for that post-plant scenario. Anyway, it was just perfect connection towards the hands of OGX here. Unfortunate though for Iruma, especially in that corner after that rendezvous. It could have been the good opening that OGX was looking for. This is now the overdrive that we were talking about. Now on a pistol round, 25 HP for Tess. She still managed to survive a 5v4 though.
Like we talked about, if you can hit that immediate headshot, the overdrive, it's going to be taken out of the equation. But if you can't, it's going to cause a little bit more trouble. Now, a 4-person flank coming in, 3-person flank rather, coming in from Orangutan. Luna hears all of these sound cues, and she gets the lineup as well. All 3 kills to come in her pocket, and it's just down to Casper. A 1v5, a flawless for MLT as Envious smokes out her position. And just like that, we are tied up once again. Both teams, they're going to have the buy rounds coming in. A lot of ultimates on the board. And I genuinely feel like this is the swing round that could decide how the rest of the game plays out.
Fastest triple kill I've seen so far for this second game that we're looking at. Luna just on point with crisp shots, corner to corner. And again, for the side of OGX and MLT, it's still a 50-50. We're still not sure what's going to happen for this map that we're looking at. But it is a buy round for OGX this time around. Operator in play, perfect for Iruma as she takes away one of the most punishing players here for the side of MLT.
Yeah, with the Luvu, she's been able to make so much space for this attacking side of MLT. So her being out of the equation is definitely going to be a little bit of relief to Orangutan, especially so early on in the round. That said, though, they can't afford to get super complacent because the rest of the team, they still have the resources to work with here. In particular, I'm looking at the lockdown as well as that Rolling Thunder. Orangutan, they have the tools to counter here, but I think it's going to come down to how exactly these ults end up trading each other the way that they look to go onto the side. MLT, they're not investing anything quite yet, just trying to walk up and play for contact. The thing is, Orangutan, they're playing quite far back. It's going to be the Rolling Thunder that's necessary to take them out of the equation. The stuns come in to boot, and Orangutan, they're able to push up quite heavily on short. The fights, though, it's going to be equal trading out so far. And Orangutan, they keep their numbers ahead by 1.
Recon to recon. Good for Japeeps, though she was there at least able to trade out the players here of MLT. Good positioning from Casper, already lurked up, but it's only good for 1. 2v1 situation. Now it's all up to Tess to make something happen here. She still has a lockdown available, but look at this pincer coming in from OGX. That operator is already waiting for her.
Yeah, nice rotation and reach coming out of Iruma. But of course, that flank from Casper, it was just so perfectly timed. She tucked herself into the attacker spawn as soon as the rotation was able to come in. So that was not only her being able to get a kill, but also the information onto where exactly that last player, Tess, was headed. With the clock ticking, she had to go towards C, and the reposition from Iruma was just perfectly timed there to be able to take her out. 9-10 now, Orangutan. 1 round away from breaking the economy for MLT, and they still have the tools to deal with a lockdown from Tess as well with that Hunter's Fury available for Japeeps. It's gonna be a quick push by the Orangutan squad though towards the spawn here. Already the first kill to come out of Twirly. She goes all the way, and Iruma with the second as well. Absolute
And she's already
bonkers
back
stuff.
in garage.
She just falls back. It's so clean.
The thing is, she disrespected the smoke already. I was expecting her to die down, especially with all the stuns coming forward. I was expecting for MLT to try and fight and contest, but that didn't happen. And again, 5v3 situation, down to 2 less players here for MLT side. Other than that, though, it's still quite open for the taking. No one really taking control over C long to really know that there's no one there. And aside from that, it's just patience game from OGX.
Yeah, now that they've gotten that advantage, right, you can see how passively they're happy to play because they know that MLT will have to come to them anyway. They're just trying to hold down the crossfires on site, play for their existing protocols, and it's just patience coming out of them, which is very nice to see. Japeeps, of course, going for the jiggle, does spot out a Lulu, immediately gonna trigger utility out of the rest of OG, and this breach utility, it might be the difference maker. Sway manages to cross over onto site here, playing up close and personal, and again, MLT with the clock ticking, they're gonna have to make a move. They look to flood in through Garage, able to find the trade, a 1-for-1 so far, but Seaside is still quite heavily stacked here. MLT with another kill, and it's just gonna come down to Envious. 1v2 has to plant. There's a player on site, and it's just gonna be Casper to swing out and find that final kill. 11-9 now. Orangutan 2 rounds from locking in their spot in the upper bracket.
Good decision coming in from Casper as well to just walk through and not let the last player of MLT hear her no more. And this allowed, obviously, for Envious to be more comfortable in planting that spike and making that timing happen. But this fast kill towards or outside Garage coming in from Twirly, this was a hit and run. Literally. Hit and run. And with that, you just get flabbergasted. You just have to reset on what you're gonna do next, you know? And for the time being, they're a little bit rattled here. Going up against Aruma is gonna be Elu going down again, punishing players left and right. Aruma for the second here. Maybe another. Ooh, not gonna hit.
Yeah, just you really don't want to dry peek with Inoa Chamber as an operator. She gets 2 kills for absolutely free there, and looking for a little bit more towards Long this time around. Has the operator ready to go, and MLT, they're being picked apart bit by bit on this ace side. You can see that all of them are kind of contesting this part of the map. No control to be found anywhere else. And you can see that B and C are both under watch as well by Casper and Twirly. It seems like MLT, they are going to be looking to commit here, but the timing on the flash is perfect. Sway able to find the first, but Tess there for the refrags. 2 kills of her own now to bring it down to a 2v3. And you can already see that Casper, she's once again on the flank.
Still a 3v2 scenario here. OGX, they have to be really careful. They're really stacking up here on A. They have control over Garage as well. But this ult from the Killjoy allows them to know that it's going to be an A hit. He will fight it actually, Twirly, to go in front of the players here. Well executed for the side of MLT so far, but Iruma on the Heaven side. Will she find someone? Yep, that's gonna be Tess trying to just hide and tuck away in the corner. 4 HP remaining, and that's the shutdown from Casper instead.
Casper coming in to clutch it all out at the end, wins the 1v1 to perfection. We'll have time to retrieve the operator as well. So an excellent round to come out of Orangutan. That said, though, we saw moments of brilliance coming out of MLT as well. Like you mentioned, the lockdown to try and bait out a peak. Totally takes the bait, gets punished, and brings it down to a 2v2. Unfortunately, though, the lack of a controller remaining for the MLT side would let Iruma find a free kill from Heaven. Awkward positioning to come out of Tess there, and she gets punished. Either way, though, a really nice round to come out of Orangutan and a very well-coordinated retake that's going to bring them to match and series point. And now they are just ready to make this happen, end it here and now, just 1 round away.
They do have that setup from a Breach Flash, but the thing is, the peak coming in from Elu was already there before the flash settled in. That allowed them basically to get that free kill and maybe just a rendezvous back quite easily. This is going to be a TP out trying to get away, but the perfect setup from Casper and Twirly. The combination has just been phenomenal so far from this teammates and from this team. Chemistry definitely there.
Yeah, I gotta say, Casper is probably the best Astra player to ever touch a mouse in Game Changers. I'm saying that right now. You can fight me on that if you want, but I will fight you for that with wounds and all. That said, though, Twirly finds yet another kill. A quick flank coming in. Orangutan, they're crunching in heavily on the MLT squad here. 3 on the round for Twirly. Aruma finds one choice heaven, but the overdrive, it finds 4, and just like that, Aruma to find the final kill. Ace denied. The map confirmed. Orangutan, they're gonna be moving on in that upper bracket with a 2-0 victory. Incredible work coming out of the squad. We were skeptical. We were talking about the roster shuffles. We weren't sure if they would succeed, but the OGs, they go all the way, and now they're going to be moving on with that 2-0.
For this day alone, we only get 1 kill from a knife. I'm sad, but hey, at least we got one, right? Coming in from Orangutan X as well. Well thought by the Filipinos, like we said. But anyhow, this was a clean 2-0 coming in from this team, and it was almost a 50-50. But in the end, especially on the latter part of the game, it seems like OGX has that more stability, capability when it comes to that chemistry as well. Really well executed coming in from this team, but it's not yet over here, Zach. They still do have that lower bracket to
Of
fight
course,
on.
yeah.
And there's still a lot of matches basically for the next following days. But I guess,
Yes.
what are your last thoughts before we give it to the panel, Zach?
I think that for MLT, right, for a squad that was formed literally for the LCQ, relatively new team, sure they have experienced players, it's incredible to see that they were able to stand toe-to-toe with the Orangutan. Like, yes, it was a 2-0, but both of these games, they were pretty close. I think it was, 13-10 and 13-9. So it's really a testament that they were able to put up such a show, and I really look forward to see how they're going to be doing in that lower bracket run. But for today, at least, it's going to be Orangutan on top with that 2-0. And to talk about exactly how they managed to pull off the 2-0, let's see what Mika and Colton have to say.
I absolutely love how close this series was. I mean, it was neck and neck, right? It was a 2-0, but that doesn't say anything to how close the rounds really were. There were a lot of back and forths that happened all throughout this series, actually. And I think that, that really goes to show it's a testament to how much MLT have improved in such a short span of time. But also, OGX, you're seeing that, that X factor once again that they have that managed to take them right here to this stage on Elite.
Yeah, OGX played that attacking side to perfection. I mean, again, I loved what they were able to do on the defense as well, right? We saw so many times where they went for flanks, early round aggression as well. Like, Twirly was just a menace on the Neon. And that kind of aggression, right, it isn't used every single round. When you use it every single round, it becomes predictable, you become readable. MLT will be able to counter that, but you can see from OGX's playstyle, they take those aggressive rounds, not every single round, they spice it up. Some rounds they go slow, some rounds they go fast, and they even let Aruma cook, right, letting her use the AWP, right, she's at the bottom of the scoreboard, but you cannot underestimate the fact that she put in so much impact, especially during the tail end of that defending side. It is the perfect blend of like aggression and then passiveness coming in from OGX on the defending side, which I loved to see that dynamic play, especially with a Neon on your squad.
Yeah, it was so much fun. It was so much fun, and you could tell, those moments where Twirly was indeed having fun. I have to commend Sway as well. Her initiates were like on point. But I would say that she was toe-to-toe with Sapphire. They were both actually really, really good this series. And I have to commend Luna as well. That triple kill on C-Long was like that was pretty shocking. One of the most shocking moments that has happened today. I still think that the Sunset pick still takes the top for shocking moments of today. But yeah, Luna was just so good at isolating fights. And, even if, like, for example, you'd see MLT have the numbers, like, numbers disadvantage, Luna was able to, like, stay calm and actually cleverly reposition herself to, take the fights one-on-one. And I feel like, she's such a smart player. She has had experience, by the way, playing in other regions other than APAC, so that definitely shows. Love to see her again. For now, though, it is OGX continuing their story here on the upper bracket. I think we expected nothing less, especially since the squad has been through, the roller coaster ride for them that is Game Changers 2023, right? And Twirly over here, she has had so much impact on this squad, right? You're absolutely right. It seems like the squad was trying to match the pace of the Neon sometimes, and you could actually feel them when Twirly would go in. They'd be like, "Oh, we gotta go too. You gotta rush in too."
Yeah, sometimes her pace is just so fast, right? There were so many times where I see Twirly entering the site and the defenders just had their util in hand, a breach flash in hand, the Sova dart ready for the entry, but she was already in. She was already shooting them at the side of the head. So that kind of pace change that OGX are able to employ, I think if they continue with this kind of playstyle, they're gonna be a menace in this tournament itself, right? Elite, that they're really leveling up the game. up against a honestly quite formidable MLT. They did take them to relative deep waters, not the deepest that I've seen OGX been taken, but it's still a good feat coming in from MLT. I'm happy from what I saw today, especially Luna, right? As you mentioned, I think she's one of the shining stars of MLT going forward. She's going to be a key factor if they're going to want to win a couple matches here in the league.
I love what you mentioned about OGX and them having this we keep talking about how when their backs are against the wall, they have this ability to be able to come back. Not a lot of teams have that. It's not OGX aren't exactly the team that I would call squeaky clean, right? They're not exactly SMG kind of clean. They're not exactly perfect. There are those rounds where it looks like what was that? But there is this ability that they have, that the team has, and I think it's within each player, that they're able to actually turn something on and just be able to turn things around even when the odds are stacked against them. And that's a quality that can't be easily taught. And I think it speaks to just how how mentally strong players here at OGX are, especially since having been a roster that's gone through so much over these months and over this entire 2023, right? And it's incredible to see them right here. And I know that they're just getting started. I know that they're just getting warmed up here, especially since they're dealing with some last-minute roster shuffles. So, Colden, I think exciting things for the squad, but I would say also exciting things for MLT as well. Much like Nick's Kyose, now that they're in the lower bracket and they have nothing left to lose, I'm excited to see them in that kind of form.
Yeah, as you mentioned, right, nothing left to lose. Now they're in the lower brackets. I think that is where all your chains are just removed from your body. You just have your entire strategy just thrown into the server, everything you can to stay alive. I think that is going to be the game plan for those squads in the lower brackets. But today, we have the two favorite teams moving on in the bracket. So it's got to be SMG versus OGX later on in the tournament, not so soon. But that's an interesting matchup, right? OGX being that consistent squad that's actually second seed in this tournament. Maybe not making as many grand finals, but they've always made playoffs. They always made top 3, top 4. And I think going back to what you said, right, the resilience coming in from OGX is really nice to see. Backs up against the wall. They still manage to do it, right? Be it really scrimmy, really scrappy rounds, but they still pull it together. We saw a couple of times, right? Casper put in the clutch, last player standing, but she still gets the job done. She still pushes the team over the line. And at the end of the day, that is a top quality squad, right? That is something that you need in a top squad, that resilience to push over the edge, even though you might not be in the most favorable position. So I'm excited to see how that matchup goes up ahead later on, right? SMG versus OGX. We'll let them have a couple of days off to practice, maybe practice their sunset. You never know, since it's already been broken out of the strat book. But
yeah, that's definitely going to be one of the highlight matches, right? And I think that you did bring up that very interesting quality of OGX, right? That I think that a lot of teams here would agree, or a lot of the talents here would agree that OGX is our dark horse for Elite, right? They're not exactly as clear of favorites as Team SMG or even RQ Kaguya or Full Sense Sapphire, right? But there is a chance. There is a very slim chance that maybe these guys could do it. And I do agree with that. I do think that they are the dark horse for this competition. There is something special about them. Whether or not they can manage to slip through that window, we will have to find out, especially as the matches get dicier and dicier. As Alexi said earlier, it's not exactly too spicy just yet. We did have a couple of shockers here and there today, but nothing. I don't think we've seen anything yet. Or most of our teams are still warming up here, right, Golden?
Yeah, a couple of teams still yet to play. We're going to see them tomorrow, but that's for another day. But again, I think going back to what you said about OGX, I think there was the Twitter Space event that was held for GC, like, what was it, yesterday or the day before?
It was last week. Time is a blur.
It merges all into one long day. But we had a couple of predictions from the talents, and I noted that a lot had predicted Full Sense Sapphire or RQ Kaguya to be potential upsets, but no one really mentioning OGX, right? And it goes back to your point about the dark horse thing, which is yeah, they might be a little underestimated, right? Especially with the change up with the new player coming in, Sway, as well as Mythica on the substitute role. I think what we've seen today from Sway, right? The calling has been really nice coming in from her, especially if she was the one being, calling for this squad. Those attacking rounds, some of them were really, really nice. I love the slow play that they were able to implement, as well as some faster plays, especially on the defending side, because it's not easy, right? When you have a Neon on the defense, you have to pick and choose which areas you want to be aggressive Neon, and not every IGL is the best to come up with new ideas every single round. And today, I think what we saw on the defending side of Haven was a great testament to Sway's calling ability. So I hope to see more of that coming in the future days as they continue to play on the tournament. But I mean, today I think it's just good signs from OGX.
I did miss her. I did miss her here on this squad, and you're absolutely right. You have a Neon on defense, and there are not a lot of IGLs that can handle that, so to say. Zach here is protesting, by the way, who says
maybe
that
I missed
there
her
was
diction.
one talent who did say that OGX is it all the way, and
Shout out to her.
that was Zach, which is Zach is a powerhouse when it comes to all of the game changers. As you guys know, she's been all around the different regions of game changers. So when she says that hey, you guys can possibly make it, that is not you guys gotta take that seriously, and that's there is a massive chance indeed. So OGX versus Team SMG, who knows? That could be very interesting indeed. I do think that we'll have to see until tomorrow, because we do have some of the another brand new, well, not brand new, but another 4 batch of teams that we still have yet to see here on the elite stage. And of course, among there are Kaguya, Full Send Sapphire, Global Esports Phoenix, and Scythe and WJ. So it's gonna be a very exciting as well. But yeah, I think that should we have a grand finals that is Team SMG and OGX, I think it should be very, very interesting, especially since we do know that OGX are still going through some little bit of adjustments, and maybe they did need this series or this match to be able to warm up just a bit. Now we know that we are on the elite stage, because warming up should be a bit faster paced than any of our other tournaments. But hey, this is OGX, this isn't exactly their first rodeo, Colton.
Yeah, with so many roster changes, so many new players here and there in so many rosters, I think we might see some cases of the honeymoon effect. I think there are situations where teams, find just a great group. They find their form. They somehow just find their flow state. Everyone is just playing confidently, flowingly. And we might just see that in one of the teams here. There's so many changes. OGX looked like one that could be one of those teams. I think we'll just have to wait and see. But speaking about the brackets, I think later on, right, tomorrow, where we have the remaining 4 teams that we're yet to see play, I think those matches are going to be really insane, because they have all qualified based on circuit points, right? None of them from the LCQ circuit, so it's really, really interesting to see how that will pan out. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, I think we have an interview with the one and only Sway from OGX right on the line. Sway, can you hear us?
I can. Hello.
Hello.
Ignore the clips.
Hi, Sway. Congratulations on your win. That is so cute, but is that toothless?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Is that... Whoa, so
Oh my
cute!
God.
Thank you.
I just saw the eye. I knew immediately. That's so cute. Sway, congratulations on this first win here at Elite. I'm really curious because, of course, welcome back, by the way, to the Game Changer circuit. How are you guys dealing with these last-minute roster changes, especially in such a high-pressure environment that is APAC Elite?
There have been ups and downs, but we're not thinking too much about it. We're just focusing on the moment, and I think we believe too much in ourselves to let that affect us.
Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. I wish everybody, if everybody believes like you guys do, the world would be a better place. Colden, your question up next.
Yes. Okay. So we saw Sunset being picked in the first series of the day. Were you surprised at all that MLT picked into Lotus? Because that isn't a map that they typically play too much on. But do you think that was kind of a pocket pick by them to try to catch you guys off guard? Were you guys surprised, or were you guys really prepared for that pick?
I I think we've prepared everything properly, so we weren't really surprised, and we don't think too much about the veto. It's mostly based on what our strong maps are, more than what the other person picks.
And that's
Mm,
how
yeah, I like that.
yeah, that's how a team like OGX are prepared for anything, right? Once you focus on yourself. Speaking about focusing on yourself, I want to ask you guys about the comeback during the first map, right? That was like 11, I think, straight rounds that you guys made
Yeah.
consecutively. So, and you finished with a knife kill as well. Can you talk to us about that? What was going through your minds as you guys were like slowly gaining momentum?
As I said, that we continuously believe in ourselves. We kind of knew it in our gut that we're gonna come back. We've done it before. We were 111 down and we've done that. So yeah, we've already prepared to come back.
Awesome. And it
Right.
also shows like, Sway's IGL skills. I mean, like, if I was down
Of course.
111, I don't know, I'll have to call up Sway to like give me some motivation as well. Colden, over to you.
Yeah, okay, so last question for me is, so if I'm not mistaken, you are the IGL for OGX, which is pretty interesting, right? Coming in as the newest player. But
Yeah.
how is it like to really orchestrate a squad such as OGX, especially with very unconventional picks such as Neon and Chamber on Haven, right? How is it like to organize that kind of chaos, especially on the defending side, right? When you go for those aggressive pushes?
Actually, I've played last season with them, so I'm very comfortable with this roster. There are, of course, 2 editions of Toli and Iruma, but I think they're great players and they were very understanding, and it was pretty easy for me as an IGL. So, yeah.
Alright, just solid IGLing, Classic stuff, just going back into the driver's seat, all of that.
Awesome. Well, welcome home, Sway, is what we want to say, right? Congratulations on the win, and we wish you luck on the rest of your run here at Elite.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, that was Sway, and we did miss her here at Game Changers, right? I think you could tell that she feels right at home, especially with how fast she was able to adapt. Coming into these like minute roster changes and everything. It really is a testament to how well this squad can adapt like on the fly, right? And Colden, as we're seeing right now with our brackets, as you mentioned, we have some exciting matches coming up tomorrow.
Such a heartbreaker to see Nyx Kyosei versus MLT. I would love it if both of those squads, had a run in the lower brackets, but they're gonna be facing up against each other up next. But as we mentioned, right, SMG versus OGX still in the upper brackets, and then we have some juicy matches for you guys tomorrow: GE Phoenix versus Full Send Sapphire, as well as Scythe and WJ versus RRQ Kaguya. So I think those matches are going to be really, really close because those squads are not inseparable, but they are pretty close. I think everyone has a shot at winning their games tomorrow. So I'm definitely going to be tuning in, and I'm really excited to see which team will move on in that upper bracket.
Same. And looking at, you have RRQ and you have Full Sense. I feel like RRQ right now, they are out for blood. They it's a kind of like a grudge match, revenge match for them, just because it's like that crown has eluded them for so long, and like you can kind of tell that like you're not getting away this time, right? And for Full Sense Sapphire, of course, this is the squad that would love to represent the region once again in Game Changers Champions, right? They are not gonna let this shot get away from them that easily. I know that Team SMG looks like the favorite right now, but if I were to put my money on 2 more that can challenge them for this, it would be Full Sense Sapphire and RRQ Kaguya. So it's going to be very exciting indeed. Colden, any closing thoughts for this day?
I think we saw everything in that we would like to see today, right? We had the sunset, the new map in the pool, we had a great showing from the underdogs, and then we saw the veterans step up to the plate. We saw SMG show their class, we saw OGX showing their resilience at the end of the day. It's been a fantastic 2 series, and yeah, I just can't wait for the next few games of this tournament and see how things progress, because it's only going to get spicier from here on out.
Exactly. That's exactly what Alexi said as well earlier. You haven't seen anything yet? Today was a fantastic teaser of what is to come here on Game Changers APAC Elite. So we will see you guys for the rest of the week as things get spicier and spicier and spicier. We'll see you guys here, same time, same virtual place, right here on twitch.tv/FSLs. See you guys. Have a good night.
One enemy remaining.
Show me what you got. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up.